What I've got here is a 16-inch MacBook Pro with M1 Max chip and maxed out specs. I must say that I'm quite impressed with this device, and I would love to share my first impressions. Hello, I'm Dr. Sam, this is Dr. Sam's Health, and today I'm making one of these non-medical videos when I talk about different gadgets. If you follow my channel, last video was about unboxing of my MacBook Pro that I just purchased like a week ago. Actually, I purchased it 2 months ago and I received it a week ago. But this is one of these amazing machines, and I already shared my unboxing experiences with you, and I quite honestly planned to play with it for several days and then add a video segment to that previous video. But I realized that it would be too repetitive and too long, too boring, and I know that I'm not the best guy in terms of entertainment, so I decided to split it into 2 videos. The previous one was on unboxing of this wonderful device, and this one is on my first impressions. Before I get to the first impressions, I would like to make my regular disclaimers. First, I'm a medical doctor, but I do not give any medical advice over internet. I merely present my opinions, which are always well-intended and mostly well-researched, and they do not necessarily represent the opinions of my colleges, regulatory bodies, my universities, my discipline, specialty in general, psychiatry. I'm just sharing my customer experiences here, specifically in this video. This video is not sponsored by Apple, of course. I just purchased this laptop for my use. Likely you know that I'm a PC user. What would be the right word? Not heavy PC user, but a hardcore PC user. I've been using PCs since I was like, I don't know, 6. And it's very hard for me to switch to Apple devices because they have everything laid out slightly differently. I tried quite a few devices. Obviously, you have seen my video on Apple iPhone 12 that I have here, and I'm using it for taking pictures, some video clips. I tried MacBook Air in 2015. I actually really liked it, but there was something off about it. Not even off, something different, to the point that it would require a certain like a relearning curve from somebody who's using PCs in his work all the time, and I just didn't have time for that, so I just gave it away. And for the following several years I've been using again different devices, including, by the way, my HP Spectre 360, and I've got this device here for a reason. Likely you have seen my videos on that device and others, and today I would like to bring your attention to this device just because I wanted to compare a couple of things. Anyhow, I've got this MacBook Pro, played with it for a week or so, and my impressions are as follows. First, the design. I first was a little bit shocked with it because the pictures of it on official website obviously didn't give it proper presentation or representation, didn't give it justice. I didn't like the design initially. It looked a little bit too dated, or, you know, I expected something more like strictly minimalistic. And this device I expected straight lines, sharp edges. This device has some sharp edges here, this vent ports. Definitely you cannot cut yourself, but I was unpleasantly surprised with, you know, like organoleptic sensations that I had. On the other hand, the main edges are smooth, and it feels like it is a device from early 2000s, not from 2021. Anyhow, it's kind of growing on me, and I feel that it is okay. I'm getting used to it. The second thing about this device is not necessarily size, which is great, because I'll show you the screen. It is actually pretty nice. But the weight. This device is quite heavy. I'm used to walk around my place, my work, with 13-14 inch laptops by Lenovo or Dell, and they're very light. They usually weigh around like 2.5, maybe 3 pounds. This one is 4.5 pounds, I assume, 2.1 kilos, and it is unpleasantly heavy. It's literally a very hefty device, and I don't know about you, but I tend to use my laptop in my bed. I lie down and I try to kind of put it on my chest or my stomach and try to type, but I'm getting tired very quickly just by holding it still. So it's a little bit hefty and difficult to manipulate, literally. On the other hand, I just realized that I have this now old laptop, HP Spectre, that is effectively of the same weight, and I can show you, it is of the same, exactly the same size. So they didn't lie when they said that we put a 16-inch laptop into the body of a 15-inch laptop. This one is actually 15.6, which is a standard size of 15-inch laptop. This one is 16-inch. It has slightly different aspect ratio, and I actually do like it. So since we're talking about screen, let's talk about screen. And another thing is the ports. This device has multiple ports. I mentioned it and already in my unboxing video, and I must say that I do enjoy the abundance of ports. So it has this MagSafe connector, which is super strong. Another thing is it has SD card slot, which I already used for importing videos from my video camera, and it did work amazingly well, amazingly fast actually. I know that people were talking about these ports not being the latest generation, but everything works fine. Wi-Fi connectivity is kind of solid, but I was surprised that some things took forever to download. Like my Microsoft Cloud did not sync really well. A couple of other things, actually almost exclusive of products from Microsoft, there were some hiccups. Anyhow, I was going to talk about the screen, and as I open the laptop, one thing that I like, apart from being able to open the screen with just one finger, which is not a big thing. By the way, holding it this way is actually quite difficult. I won't be able to do it for too long. The screen is amazing, it is big, and what I was going to say, when you open it, it opens up immediately, which I totally love. Not that I'm like one of the super creative people who can lose their creativity moments, their mojo in a second, but actually I am. I just realized that I am. What I really liked about MacBook Air that I had, that when you open it, it's ready to use. It's not true for any single PC laptop that I used to own, including this HP Spectre. You open it, takes its time, and then you have to enter a password, and it kind of slowly starts. With this one, you open it, actually just close it so I can open it again. You open it, and immediately it starts, which is amazing. And obviously it has this fingerprint scanner, so you're ready to go just in a split second or in a second as soon as you open this device. So from that standpoint, I'm already liking it more and more and more. The screen is amazing, but I have to say a couple of things. So I like the fact that the screen is extra large. It's 16-inch screen. I like the aspect ratio. I've got some ideas in terms of what I'm going to talk about here in Microsoft Word. One thing I wanted to say about the screen is that it's not truly 4K, which I'm a bit conflicted about this. On one hand, I know that the 2017-18 HP Spectre 15-inch has 4K screen. This one is not 4K, it has a funny resolution, but the horizontal one is not 4K. Essentially, if the resolution is like too dense, it's actually becoming a little bit hard to see lots of things. But on the other hand, I cannot realistically claim that I'm watching 4K videos, for example, on this laptop. It's also nearly impossible to work with 4K videos in video editors. I mean, you can work, but you won't see the true picture. So I think that the reason why I'm okay with that is because I can connect this laptop to my 5K screen and use 5K screen for video editing, and I would see true 4K there. And at the same time, it's not overly dense here. It doesn't doesn't strain my eyes too much. Another thing I wanted to say is, apart from the screen, obviously it's not a touch screen, which I realize I kind of used to a certain extent, actually to the point that I'm always trying to touch something on the screen and try to scroll it. Nevertheless, I don't have to do this because it doesn't work here. This screen allows for up to 120 Hertz screen refresh rate, which is actually great, and it has a very nice HDR, which obviously Spectre doesn't have. So this thing is solid performance and in terms of screen quality, and kind of the opposite of the screen is camera. I used camera on this laptop several times in teleconferences, and I really enjoyed the picture. I must say that I don't know what they're doing, but the quality of the videos that I'm getting, and I used Photo Boost to record some of my videos, the quality of the videos is actually pretty good. To the point that I was thinking that, you know, if I take this laptop with me, I don't even have to use my professional camera for that. I can use the laptop camera or iPhone to film myself, and that's pretty nice, pretty neat. On the other hand, a couple of things about camera, and then I'll switch to connectivity with the iPhone. Camera, they say it's 1080p, which is a little bit misleading. 1080p, when they say 1080p, we think Full HD, right? Which is 1920 over 1080. This one is not 1920, it's 1620 over 1080, and it's just like a little bit narrower. So even if I film something, record myself, I would literally have to zoom in order to make this work, and it would be essentially less than Full HD, less than 1080p. But it's not a big deal. The camera works fine, the microphone works fine, and I can tell that they are working with... There is some software that allows you to kind of cancel some noises, filter the work properly with lights, and so on. So, and I said that, you know, often I record myself on my cell phone, which I'm starting to like more and more. Actually, to be very honest, I'm kind of disappointed with the camera I'm using, just because this iPhone seems to be doing better job in terms of taking 4K videos than this camera. Hard to explain, I'm not a professional videographer, but I started using my phone, and the way this MacBook Pro works with this phone is just amazing. What happens is, somehow, magically, as soon as I filmed something, took pictures, I have access to them using the pictures and videos folders on MacBook. So they connect, there's easy file transfer, it's actually quite fast. So the connectivity and synchronicity between these devices, or synergy I would say, are amazing. So I did like that. Next is sound, and obviously I've got 16-inch version, and you can see these areas where we've got speakers. The sound is saturated, loud enough. I do enjoy the sound quality of this laptop. I don't even feel like I need to attach anything else to it. I mean, like some external speakers. And since we're talking about ports, and I already mentioned that I connected my Dell monitor to MacBook Pro, I was talking about switching from like super ultra wide monitor to just an ultra wide 5K monitor, which I have. It's a smart hub monitor from Dell, 40-inch one, and on paper it looked like an amazing device, but I couldn't realistically connect it to any of my laptops. Right now, with this MacBook Pro, I just like inserted the USB cable into it, and it connected immediately. And it connected very easily to my mouse and keyboard. Wireless stuff worked like a charm. So I'm very happy with the connectivity, except for some small hiccups with Wi-Fi, specifically when I downloaded Microsoft products. Speaking of we can talk about Microsoft and other software. So definitely everything is slightly different on macOS. I cannot say that I like it just because I'm so used to working with PC stuff that little things, they kind of set me off a little bit. But it is workable, and I think it's just the experience that I have to have. It will take me 2, 3, 4 weeks to adjust, maybe longer, depending on the tasks. But there are some hiccups. There were some hiccups with Microsoft products. There were some hiccups with EndNote. That's the software that I use to insert references into my works. By the way, I'm still working on my book, and part of the justification for purchasing this laptop is just to finally have something where I have all my stuff in one place, and I can travel and work on that, take it to work and work a little bit during the lunch break and so on. So Microsoft Office is there, Microsoft Cloud is there, OneDrive, which is called OneDrive, is there. Everything is downloaded, uploaded, EndNote installed. Working on this laptop is pretty much a pleasure. And I would have mentioned that it's quite heavy, and I will talk about that. I actually had this thought of either returning it or switching to 14-inch, which is not mutually exclusive. But one of the things that I like about this large screen is that I can work on some stuff while I'm in Microsoft Word, and I can have something here, a sidebar, thumbnails, navigation panel. The same applies to working with PDFs, same applies to some websites. So I do enjoy the screen size of this laptop. Finally, actually I've got 2, 3 more things to talk about. I was having some doubts about this laptop because it's quite expensive, and I'm not sure if I was that fascinated with it in the very beginning, especially because of this little hiccups, little things that kind of annoyed me. But the more I work with it, the better I feel about it. And hilariously, there was one turning point, which was rendering a video. So I must have mentioned that I used this software called Cyberlink Power Director, and I rendered one of my previously published videos in Cyberlink on my super powerful PC with 2080 Ti video card, i9 processor, so supposed to be super fast, super efficient. It took 25 to 28 minutes, depending on the setting, to render a 1080p video. It was a conversion from 4K footage, cut and spliced together, converting it. It took, as I said, 25 to 28 minutes. Then I transferred the same file to MacBook, and by the way, I had to buy a special version of this software for Mac OS, and that was a little bit annoying because it was like $50 that I had to spend despite the fact that I'm already having a PC version of this, and then it could not use the PDS file, which is like the project file from Power Director that was created on PC, and couldn't use it on Mac. So I had to redo this stuff, but anyhow I ran pretty much the same set of files, conversion, rendering the video, and guess how long it took? It was 25 to 28 minutes on PC. On MacBook Pro with M1 Max, it took 3.5 minutes. I was really impressed to the point that I realized that this device might be the right one for me. Also, since I mentioned Cyberlink Power Director and like little differences between software and different platforms, Power Director exists for Macs. I have used it. It's super fast on this particular machine, but I tend to use another software from them that's called Audio Director, and it comes in a suite with Power Director. It uses special algorithms to process the sound and to denoise it. And I don't know why this camera makes some noise, but there is always a little bit of static noise that is present on my videos unless I use special software, and sometimes I put some background music so you do not pay much attention to that, but it does exist. And I couldn't use it on Mac because they don't have Audio Director for Mac, so I'm kind of stuck here. I'm not sure how to transition. But speaking of video editing, I actually always wanted to try Final Cut Pro, and I got Final Cut Pro, but it's a separate piece of software that I have to learn to use, and definitely I'm going to do this, but it will take me maybe at least a couple of weeks to get to that point. So Again, looks like it will take a little bit of time to adjust to this machine, but things are starting to shape up and I'm liking it more and more and more. I also tried a video game, and I said I think I did say it from get-go that, you know, I totally understand that Macs are not for playing games. I've got PC rig that is awesome for playing video games. I'm not planning to play any video games on a laptop, whereas I have a huge screen here and so on. But you know, I just wanted to try it, and I tried Tomb Raider, the second installment of the new series. I ran a benchmark with maximum resolution, maximum specs, everything maxed out. It did run with the FPS rate of close to 50, 48, 49, 50. I was actually impressed with that, with the resolution which was close to 4K. Obviously, actually I'm not sure if it has ray tracing in it or the game uses ray tracing. Actually, I don't think so. But sorry for digressing. Another thing that I noticed, apart from being impressed with the performance, is that that was the only time when this laptop became super hot. Within like 2-3 minutes it was I think it was close to 100 degrees Celsius. I don't have any kind of device to measure the temperature, but it was so hot I wouldn't be able to actually hold it on my lap. So that's one important thing. So if people are talking about this device is never getting hot, within 24 hours of having it, I made it reach some sort of a boiling temperature. So anyhow, I feel that I've said pretty much everything that I wanted to say about this device. The last thing I wanted to kind of think about or talk about is whether I should go, or you should go, with 14-inch or 16-inch. So my experience is, obviously I was looking for a 16-inch device because first of all it's of the size of 15-inch device. It has longer battery life. I would expect it to have better thermals, but I guess lots of YouTubers were trying different tests. They showed that there is not much difference. I consider that I would not be using it on the go a lot. Most time it would be in some sort of stationary places, cafe, Starbucks, desk, my desk here at home, my desk and at my workplace. So, and I don't think it would fly anytime soon, but actually I hope to fly if Omicron doesn't affect the flying restrictions. I've got a vacation coming up, so likely I will take it with me. But you know, when I took this laptop in my hands, I realized that it was quite heavy to the point that it's unpleasant, and I had my serious doubts whether I should go for 14-inch and it would be smaller and I would have like slightly better aesthetics. Actually, I'll show you one more thing. I'm not sure if I'm liking this black keyboard, which is like a blot in the middle of silver surface. Like literally every time I see this, I feel like this keyboard would benefit from having a keypad. And I'm so used to having keypads on multiple laptops, and I'm using keypad all the time because I like Excel, I like some statistical software, and I'm typing up a lot of numbers. Like here we've got keypad, and the width of HP Spectre and MacBook Pro is exactly the same. They could have definitely put keypad here, but I guess not everybody is using keypads, and they decided to use this space to put larger speakers here into this machine. Can't argue with that. I think it's another thing to get used to. Again, returning to the 14 versus 16-inch laptop, I don't know. I have to think about it. I'm starting to get used to this weight, and I understand that the trade-off is some slightly better portability with 14-inch laptops, which are smaller, more compact, and obviously they weigh less. I think it's like 1 pound less, versus larger screen space, better sound, better thermals, longer battery life, actually significantly longer. Also, there are some differences in terms of like high power mode, fast charging. I think that actually there was something specific, and I apologize if I'm getting it wrong. I think that this one can be fast charged using MagSafe only, and the 14-inch version can be fast charged using USB-C and MagSafe. Plus, there is hassle of returning this laptop. It's quite expensive. It will take another couple of months to get another one. I don't know. I'll give it a try. I will work with it. Likely, I'll promise you the third video in this series when I will be talking about, say, 3-4 weeks of using this laptop and my final thoughts. And I think I have shared my first impressions with you quite effectively. So, in general, I'm getting used to this device. It will be quite a learning curve for me to talk about it, not to talk about it. I think it will be quite a learning curve to get used to it, but I'm looking forward to it, and I can definitely see that Apple has produced a masterpiece, and I don't have any major issues with that, quite frankly. Everything I said negative was pretty much very minor things, and they are more of a adjustment period related in my case, and nothing really critical. Great device, super fast, super energy efficient, fast opening, connectivity, everything is amazing. So that was pretty much it. I don't have to say anything else about MacBook Pro at this point. As always, thank you for watching my videos, and this one in particular. Thank you for your patronage. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Hit the like button, leave comments, make me more relevant. Check out my website, drsamshealth.com. I'm always happy to communicate with my followers, viewers, readers of my blog. And that's pretty much it for today. Thank you again for watching, and have a wonderful time. All the very best.